Welcome to the program. The federal government has disbursed a total sum of 27.2 billion naira within April and June 2024 of the 50 billion naira grant earmarked for nano businesses under the Trade Grant Initiative. Now, data from the Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme portal captures the number of beneficiaries who have received the 50,000 naira grant for their nano businesses across the 774 local government areas in the country. As of June 30, 2024, about 545,830 individuals have benefited from the scheme within 3 months' time frame. The scheme began in April 2024 and is aimed to reach 1 million beneficiaries across all local government areas in the country. Now, as part of efforts and measures to ensure compliance with banking sector recapitalization guidelines, the Securities and Exchange Commission has threatened to impose a 1 million naira penalty on banks if they fail to submit complete capital raise applications. Now, in a statement made available to journalists, it detailed that banks must adhere to certain norms and procedures to acquire capital by rights issuance, private placement, or other authorized means. The SEC further explained that the initiative is part of the Central Bank of Nigeria's directive for banks to raise additional capital, which is essential for navigating economic challenges and achieving a $1 trillion economy by 2030. We'll go on a short break and be back with more stories in the corporate world. Connoy PLC has released its financial statement for the year ended December 31st, 2023, which shows that it grew revenue to about 201.387 billion naira from over 131 billion naira recorded in 2022. That's up about 53.2%. The company's profit before taxation increased to 12.277 billion naira in 2023 from about over 6 billion naira in 2022. The principal activities of the company are the marketing of refined petroleum products, manufacturing and marketing of lubricants, household and liquefied petroleum gas for domestic and industrial use. Now, profit for the year rose to about 9.868 billion naira in 2023 from about 4.957 billion recorded in 2022. The company's retained earnings of 28.973 billion naira in 2023 as against 20.840 billion recorded in 2022. The directors recommend the payment of a dividend of 340 kobo per share on the result for the year 2023. We'll go on a short break, but when Money Matter returns, we'll be discussing the Central Bank of Nigeria issuing new measures to boost Naira liquidity and raise diaspora remittances in the country. I'll bring you details of this and more after the short break. Welcome back. The Central Bank of Nigeria has issued new measures it is currently putting in place to boost Naira liquidity and raise diaspora remittances. Now, according to its latest circular, the Apex Bank said eligible international money transfer operators will now have access to Naira liquidity through the bank's window. This initiative is designed to widen access to local currency liquidity, ensuring smoother and more efficient settlement processes for remittances, according to the CBN. The CBN circular signed by W.J. Kanaya, that's the acting director of the Trade and Exchange Department, said transactions executed before noon on the trading day will be settled on the same day. Now, still according to the circular, all participants are required to submit daily regulatory returns to the Apex Bank. These returns must include all relevant information on the sources of funds. The key participants in the segments include IMTOs, authorized dealer banks, and the CBN. Now, under the new guidelines, IMT operators will be able to directly access the CBN window or do so via their authorized dealer banks to execute foreign exchange transactions on the market. The circular outlines specific compliance measures to ensure the effective operation of the initiative. The decision is expected to significantly improve the liquidity of local currency for diaspora remittances, thereby enhancing the overall efficiency and reliability of the foreign exchange market in the country. The CBN has focused on increasing remittances and Naira liquidity. Now, joining me to discuss this further is Matilda Adefalujo, who is an investment research analyst. Thank you for joining me on the program, Matilda. Now, what are your thoughts on the new measures introduced by the Apex Bank to boost Naira liquidity and increase diaspora remittances?
Recently, the CBN released a circular that directs deposit money banks, that's the DMBs, and also IMTOs to pay all diaspora remittances in Naira, right? And also match them with their corresponding foreign currency inflows going forward. So before now, what we actually had was a situation where diaspora remittances were typically settled in foreign currencies, right? But this was stopped in February of this year, where the CBN directed that or restricted IMTOs from paying out remittances in dollars. So I believe that this initiative by the CBN is, well, let me just break it down so that it's actually really clear. So what we are saying is that we receive foreign remittances or diaspora remittances from our family members, friends, families, brothers, sisters abroad, right? And this is sent to Nigeria. Now, the IMTOs are the ones that receive this money. But now what we are saying now is that, or what CBN is directing now is that instead of paying out dollar to individuals, so why not pay Naira? Because we're trying to achieve a situation where we no longer have dollarization, a dollarized economy. So what we're saying now is that our banks and IMTOs would receive the dollar and then pay individuals in Naira. And this is also to sort of reduce excess demand for dollar. We are not supposed to be spending dollar in Nigeria. So they also mentioned that there's going to be a same-day settlement for transactions that are done before 12 noon. So I believe that this is actually a welcome development in ensuring that there is liberalization, and you know that the CBN has been trying, or at least putting up different efforts to liberalize the foreign exchange market. So with lower pressure on the dollar, lower demand for the dollar, would see that there would be relative stability on our foreign exchange market.
Well, Matilda, you just mentioned that it's a welcome development. So now, I would like to know, how do you anticipate that these measures will affect the liquidity of the Naira in the short and long term?
Well, like I said, and like you said, it's a welcome development. So I expect that in the short term, it's supposed to improve efficiency and also the speed of remittance. Since there is already the directive that if you're able to complete your transaction before 12 noon, you would get Naira. And also, I believe that it would also lead to an increase of Naira supply. There would also be lower pressure on the dollar. This is in the short term. And I believe that there would be more transparency since all participants are also to submit daily regulatory returns and all of that. I expect that in the short to medium term, there should be some level of improved exchange rate stability, because there's going to be, I expect, right, that there will be better matching of remittances with corresponding inflows, and it would help to stabilize the exchange rate fluctuations. Okay, so for long-term effects, I expect that there would be a sustained increase in foreign exchange inflows through foreign remittance channels. And seeing as the CBN had mentioned in May that they aim to increase or double remittance inflows within a year, that's this year, I also expect that we'll see some level of price discovery and maybe a movement to a more market-driven fair value for the Naira, as we expect that with more foreign inflows in form of diaspora remittances, and also there is no, individuals are able to get their Naira just as they are receiving their inflows. So there should be improved liquidity on the NAFEX exchange. And also, I believe that would move to a point and a situation where there is reduced reliance on the parallel markets, because as foreign diaspora remittances are coming, they're coming through the official channels, right? So there would be lower reliance on parallel markets, and this is also in line with the CBN's policy or the CBN's aim of a convergence. You note that since last year, when this new monetary authority came into power, their cry, or what they've been clamoring for, is convergence of both the official rates and the parallel rates. So I believe that with more activity on the official market, with more transparency on the official market, we'll see even greater convergence and there probably will not even be any need for the parallel market at the end of the day. So yeah, those are the long-term effects that I see happening.
Okay, what will you say are the potential risks and benefits of allowing IMTOs direct access to the CBN window?
Right. So, well, I mean, everything comes with benefits and risks. So I believe that the benefits that are available to IMTOs would be that there would be increased Naira liquidity, since they now have, or it is expected that they will now have direct access to the CBN window, that's at the official rates. So this would provide them with a reliable source of local currency, which can help to improve overall Naira liquidity, right? And also lead to more transparency, as you might say. And just like I mentioned before, one of the benefits would be that we'll see a boost in formal remittance inflows. There should be ease and convenience of receiving remittances. I mean, when I know that I do not have to look for an aboki somewhere, I don't have to struggle to get Naira or to exchange my dollar for Naira, I believe that that's one of the benefits, right? And well, for risk, if we do not have proper oversight, if this implementation is not done effectively and with proper regulatory oversight and controls, I believe that it might open room for some level of speculation or even illicit activities, which I believe is one of the things that they are trying to control. So if this is not properly done and it is not, it is not properly done, we might see more speculations or even illicit activities. And also, if these new measures are not effectively controls, just like I mentioned before, we could see, or it could lead to continued reliance on the parallel markets, because what we are trying to do is move from a point of reliance, or even a place where we have the official rates and the parallel market rates, and then companies are concerned about what is going to happen. Okay, now I'm coming in at the official markets, and I have to leave at the parallel markets. So we might see that divergence if this is not properly done. So those are the risks that I see with this if it's not properly done.
Okay, the circular was really particular about diaspora remittances. So now, how significant are diaspora remittances to Nigeria's economy, and how might these measures being put in place by the Apex Bank enhance their impact?
Okay, so for every country, for a country like Nigeria, our major source of FX inflows are oil proceeds. FX that we get from selling or exporting oil. There is also FPIs, that's foreign portfolio investments. There's FDIs, foreign direct investment, and diaspora remittance. So diaspora remittances actually play a huge role in on our exchange rates, external reserves, and all of that, right? And they're also like a big source, or like I said before, they're a big source of foreign exchange earnings for Nigeria, and it also helps us to offset different volatilities that we have in our exchange rate. So if maybe there is a reduction in that, and it's not, we know that we are not able to produce and also export as much crude oil. So if that one is lagging on one hand, and we also see diaspora remittances also reducing, it's going to cause a lot of trouble for our exchange rate. So it means that we will see higher depreciation of the Naira, which means that there's going to be it will lead to higher prices of goods and services, which means that the stock markets will also be in trouble, especially as companies will not be recording as much profits. Different things that we do not want to be happening in our country, although we are seeing some of them happen. And I believe that that is one of the reason the CBN has come up with this reform to ensure that we have higher or increased diaspora remittance to checkmate that.
Okay, so let's look at the challenges now. What challenges do you foresee in implementing these measures to increase remittance inflows into the country?
So for challenges, I would say that, no, I think I mentioned this before. If we do not see that synergy, one, and also if we are not seeing as much regulatory oversight, it might not affect, like the implementation might not be as effective as we expect. And also there's a promise that IMTOs will be able to access Naira at the official markets. Now, if this promise is not adhered to, there might be some issues, right? So I believe that these are some issues that I foresee in implementing these measures. If they are indeed not able to access Naira, the official market rate, and they now have to start sourcing for Naira, start sourcing for dollar and all of that, then there might be some issues. There's also the promise of same-day settlement as long as you're able to complete your transaction before 12 noon. Now, if we have backlogs, there might also be issues. Now, it now comes to a case of loss of confidence, or people now start using different channels other than the official ones, or other than the legitimate ones. I mean, for lack of a better word.
How might the alignment of pricing on the CBN portal with NAFEX traded rate impact the foreign exchange market in Nigeria?
Right. So the CBNs, they have, I mean, the different reforms that they've been coming up with, the different circulars, I mean, from the beginning of January, in short, from the beginning of this year up until now, there has been different love letters, different circulars to the banks, right? And what's the aim is just to ensure that there is an alignment of the exchange of the different exchange rates channels. We're able to see to get the fair value. So basically, when pricing transactions are based on market-driven NAFEX rates, it would help the CBN to better achieve price discovery, and it would also help us. I mean, the CBN will be able to be more. I mean, there's going to be more transparency and fair value for the Naira. And once this is done, there will be more incentives for transactions to be done on through channels. I mean, through the official markets channel, which helps to reduce reliance on the parallel markets, and also it helps to significantly increase foreign exchange liquidity over time, right? And what we are likely to see is, I mean, we've already started seeing it. There was a time around April, May, even coming into June, where the official market rate was almost at par with the parallel market. So this speaks to a lot of the things that the CBN has been trying to do, right? So I believe that the CBN is continually putting in different measures and efforts in place to ensure that there is an alignment in the rate, and also to help to narrow the gap between the two market rates.
Okay, the Apex Bank has said it is very important for banks to adhere to the regulatory returns for the circular to work. Now, I would like to know, how crucial is the adherence to regulatory returns and the transparency of fund sources for the success of this initiative?
I mean, it's just really like what has been said before, right? With strict measures put in place for a reform like this, I believe that it has to come with strict measures. It also has to come with tough, not so tough, but I mean some level of regulatory oversight. And thankfully, the banking sector is actually one of the most regulated sectors in Nigeria, which means that they have the CBN and the regulatory oversight, and it comes with different sanctions and maybe withdrawal of licenses, right? So I believe that it's actually very, very crucial to ensure that there is regulatory oversight and adherence to all of this, because when we don't see that, even people that are sending their funds from abroad would maybe be discouraged, from sending, and then people that are supposed to receive, citizens that are supposed to receive, would have issues receiving their funds because what is supposed to be put in place is not done. What's supposed to be effected is not effectively effected, for lack of a better word. So I believe that is actually very, very important, because there is this domino effect that it could have if things are not properly done.
Now, in what ways do you think these measures will impact Nigeria's overall economic stability and growth?
Okay, so now looking at it, let's look at it like top-down effect. So someone sends dollars into Nigeria's economy, and the IMTOs receive it. Now the IMTOs keep this dollar into our exchange, into the reserve, and then pay individuals cash, Naira. Now what this dollar does is that it helps to achieve some level of stability with our exchange rate. And you know that exchange rate is very, very, very significant, right? If there are volatilities with exchange rates, there's going to be issue with inflation. The MPC would have to hike rates. There's going to have issues with, there's going to be issues with the stock market, and also raises concerns about foreign companies being able to come into the country to invest or even set up their own companies, right? So I believe that if these are, like I've said before, if these measures are actually put in place and properly done, it would help Nigeria in terms of, number one, we need to find stability in terms of our exchange rate. And I think that this is a welcome idea. This is something that, yes, it's a stopgap. It has, at best, short-term solution. It's a short-term solution. It's a stopgap. But I believe that it's also a step in the right direction, because there are different things that are already being put in place, right? So I believe that this would go a long way in helping us to achieve, the main objective of the CBN, which is price stability, which is ensuring that inflation is kept at bay.
Okay, so the CBN has introduced so many policies into the economy in the past year to make sure that the economy gets better. Now, given the CBN's target to double remittance flows within a year, what key factors will determine the success or failure of this particular goal?
Okay, so, I believe that effective communication is important, which is something that I believe that we struggle with sometimes. Effective communication means that they are not explaining, but at least they are ensuring that everyone is carried along to make sure that they know that, okay, this is actually our objective, this is what we are trying to achieve. And also, when we are able to maintain a stable and market-driven exchange rate environment, it would help the CBN to achieve their remittance goals. And also, I believe that one thing that can help significantly is an actual provision of direct access to IMTOs, like that is, they have direct access to the CBN's foreign exchange window, the official market, the official rate, right? They have direct access to Naira at that rate.
Well, investment research analyst Matilda Adefalujo, many thanks for lending your thoughts on the program. Well, that's it on this episode of the program. Many thanks for joining us. I am Okpegemi Owosheni. See you next time.